Hey yo, what's up, people? Back again with another video for the Culture TV. Um, I want to make this video in coverage of the new interview that came out from the OG podcast, Super Tight, from the OG Bobo Luciano and his fam, and Pimp C's cousin Ed. So there was like a new interview that he did with Pimp's cousin, and he confirmed that Pimp C was murdered. Which over the years there's been a lot of speculations about what happened to Pimp. A lot of people say that Pimp C was poisoned. A lot of people say that Pimp C had sleep apnea, and the media always puts out that it was drug related, that he was sipping lean and all that. Which anytime like a big celebrity dies, they always try to plant drugs on you, paint like this narrative of, oh, they was syrup sippers since they was from Houston. I watched the interview and I was very shocked. I was very bothered by it, being that I grew up off of Pimp. I looked up to him, and when he passed, it was sad, bro. I remember walking into different stores, his shirts hanging up all over the place. R.I.P. Pimp C. I remember when the news broke and everybody was just in the uproar. There was a lot of people who quickly said Pimp C was killed based on his last interview that he did with Sway, which he was talking about Hollywood being weird and the gay people and the gay community and the rappers coming out the closet. And there was two interviews. Let me backtrack. It was two interviews. It was a radio interview and it was a visual interview with him, Bun, and Sway and Jay Prince. And the radio interview, he exposed that it was some gay rappers in the car. There was a lot of stuff going on in Atlanta, of course.
Correct.
Okay. We all know Atlanta the South, but we got to start acting like it's the South. And we got to start having some pride like it's the South. And let me say this, y'all might not like this, because a lot of people don't like stuff. But ATL is considered to be the gay capital of the world right now. And y'all got clubs over there with boys standing in the parking lot kissing on the mouth. And you know, if you're gay and you're out of the closet, that's cool, because everybody got their preference. But man, it's time to start cleaning up our own neighborhood, because a dude from Texas shouldn't have to get on in no magazine to make you clean up your neighborhood. So if I really wanted to diss Atlanta, it was a bunch of things I could have said about a bunch of people, and I could have really, really dissed and hurt some feelings. Now, don't you know that?
Yes, sir.
Because I know who the gay rappers is. I know who let them models stick them dildos in them, and I know who did what, where, when, and why. But everybody ain't my friend, and I don't like all y'all records. Now, if you want to diss me and get on with me, go on and do it. But the difference between me and them other dudes is this. You going to diss me, and I'm going to come see you, Jack. You going to diss them other dudes, and they going to play lip wrestle with you. So if you want it, man, come on with it. If you want it with me, come on with me. Leave Bun out of it, and we going to see in the end, because you going to smell my cologne. Yes, sir.
Do you mind expressing any of those rappers you was talking about?
Them sugar sausages?
Oh, man. I want to know. Them gay rappers you know about?
Nah, man, it's no need to embarrass nobody that ain't done nothing to us.
Respect.
But if you gay, man, and you ashamed of it, you need to stop doing stuff you're ashamed of.
In the other interview with Sway, he went all in with it. He said, and yes, us as being Pimp C fans, when we listen to that, we do laugh like hell. But you gotta, after that laughter is over from the way he said it, you have to pay attention to what he's saying.
From the beginning, it's always been we. Ain't never been.
And watch this, Bun. I'm gonna say this too. You niggas out there think this shit is cool, but it ain't cool. Me and this man ain't never been butt naked in no room together with no hoes, pulling no orgy type shit or doing none of that whole ass shit you niggas out there be doing, thinking you doing some fly shit. Nigga, if you in a room naked with some other niggas and some broad, them niggas looking at your ass. And if that shit is gay, and you need to get on some other shit. Me and this man got nothing but respect for each other. We ain't never pulling no train. We ain't no motherfucking freaks. We some family men. We getting this paper. Know what I'm talking about? And I had to put that out there, Bun, because a lot of niggas doing a lot of fugazi shit out here, man. You know what I'm saying? These niggas, they flip-floppy, they pitching and they catching with these boys, and they doing all this. And if you gay, that's cool, but be gay and come on out and be that. Don't be in front of us and acting like a straight-up G, and then you get over here and you letting these boys bust up your back. Because, you know, it gonna come to the light. And yeah, I want to put that out there, man. This man ain't never seen me naked. I ain't
Don't
never
want
seen
to.
him naked. We don't desire to do no shit like that. We ain't going out like that.
We before that X, you know, that X,
Yeah.
a lot of that shit fucking with a lot of these boys' heads. I don't know. Maybe they using X as an excuse to open them doors that they really
That
want to
nigga
open.
Wheelock
You know
at?
what I'm saying?
Where's Wheelock?
But, you know.
It wasn't a joke. It might have sounded like a joke. Like Jermaine Dupri stated in Pimp C's documentary, the way Pimp C will be brutally honest about situations, it might have sounded like a joke, but it wasn't a joke. He was seriously telling you the way he felt about something that he didn't like, or he seen something that wasn't up to his tune. So, going back to the interview, Pimp C's cousin Ed, he did state that Pimp C was murdered, and the alleged story was that someone named Buddy played a little prank, allegedly, and poured something in his drink. Something that also sparked my attention was that he also said that allegedly it was a lot of people in Pimp C's room, which over the years, the narrative that has always came out that Pimp C was in the room by himself.
When y'all ask me who is Buddy, so tell me about Buddy. Can you?
Buddy the nigga who killed my cousin.
You got that from a reliable source.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you hear?
So, the story I heard, it was multiple people inside the hotel room. Female, I think maybe be a male and another male probably. So,
Super tight exclusive.
So C went to the restroom and Buddy said, look, y'all don't say nothing. I'm going to play a joke on Pimp. And he poured something into his drink. And when he came back from the restroom, he started drinking it and almost immediately started throwing up blood. And what made me believe that, I packed C bags after he passed.
From that same hotel
From that
room.
same hotel. I pulled back the cover of the bed and there was blood in the bed. So that's what made me believe that story to be true.
So what's going to shock a lot of people is that no one ever knew that there was other people in the room. I mean, I'm going to say some people did.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like.
Yeah, but
Other people in heat.
but you know, the masses, the majority of people don't know that. They think it was just him in there and he just passed away.
Just like Too Short said in his last interview, that situation never set right with him because was the lock on the back of the door at the hotel room? Because if it did, if the lock was on the door, how did they get in his room?
Tuesday, they found him. And
Wow.
I'm like, so right off the rip, I'm like, what happened? What happened? Like, what happened? And all I get back is, well, he was in his room by himself and they found him. I'm like, was the door, did it have that thing on it? Like, was it the lock? Like, tell me something. Like, you know what I mean? And the most I could get was, I never got if the door was locked and I just had to break it down. Because if the door wasn't locked, that means somebody left out.
Right.
If the door was locked, that means he felt good, he locked it, he was in there.
Right.
It's a whole different level of what happened. A lot of shit goes out the window if I just know that part.
Right.
But then it's like I heard some shit about he had his clothes on or something. I don't know. Like I don't really know if all this is true, but I just heard parts like I'm like, what happened to my guy?
Right.
And then they come out with the official. It was a mixture of some stuff, the prescription and something else or something that I don't really know. But with me, I never really heard something that would give that closure for me. I have this theory that's bigger than just Pimp C, and there's a lot of mysterious celebrities, a lot of mysterious celebrity deaths in hotel rooms.
Wow.
And all these celebrities die in these hotel rooms by themselves. And
What do you think happened then?
I don't know what happened to them, but I know that when you die, everything gets all valuable and shit. I don't, you get marketed in a different way when you're dead. So one of the things you got to look at as soon as a celebrity dies is, was it a homicide?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, another thing that really sparked my interest as a fan of Pimp C in this situation, I always wanted to know growing up that was there any like hotel footage from that night? Like, was there like any hotel footage that showed the hallways to his room or his suite that he had? Like, normally in hotel rooms, of course, we all know there's cameras filming all the time. Like, where's the footage that shows his hotel room and showing who went in without out of his hotel room? Because if that came up, then that would at least give us some closure, even more closure to the situation. But of course, nobody ever said anything about no footage ever being put out or leaked or ever being shown. But back to the situation at hand. So after that, they said that this guy had went around bragging about what happened in Pimp C's hotel room, and not too long after that, he came up missing. And all this is allegedly. I want to throw that out there loosely because, you know, how things. Another thing that was brought up in the interview, that once they did the autopsy, Ed's cousin said that when they did the autopsy, they was looking for everything else except for what the main thing they was supposed to be looking for. They was trying to look for traces of lean or drugs in his system or whatever during his autopsy. They said that it was like small traces, but it wasn't enough to take the pimp out of here. Of course, being that finding those small traces in his autopsy, that's what the media ran with. They ran with he overdosed on some lean, he had sleep apnea.
Pieces of nothing found in the what do you call it, autopsy, or the what's the thing called when toxicology report.
So, no, and why I think what messed it up, and I'm going to just say it like this.
Yes.
People did so much maneuvering around the autopsy to protect what was they might have thought was going to show up. So that kind of changed the outcome of what really came out.
In other words, they weren't looking for that.
They wasn't looking for that.
What you think they were looking for? Drink?
They was looking for drink.
And they found small traces of that. Not enough. They did say it wasn't enough to kill. Now, y'all do know they said it wasn't enough to kill him.
Yeah.
And he had a prescription for that. And they tried to blame it on sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And them both is what took him out, is what the coroner's report said.
And that's what the word has been spreaded over years and decades after Pimp passed, that he overdosed and he had sleep apnea, which to me is very disrespectful, being that these facts are now coming out and we as the Pimp C fans know that that's not what happened, gathering from interviews that he did, some of his final interviews that he did, exposing and going off. He did a one on stage where he was very anxious and angry, speaking about the industry. Of course, the one with Sway and the radio interview, Pimp C was exposing a lot going on with the industry. A lot of people may not want to admit that or uncover their eyes to the fact, but just like the OG David Banner said in Pimp C's documentary, when you get to the level that UGK did and you speak about the things you choose to speak about, strange things start happening to you.
They keep us scared. A lot of people don't want the truth about the music industry. Pimp said some stuff that everybody knew, but nobody was talking about. Pac was talking about a whole lot of stuff that people knew, but everybody was scared to talk about. Once you reach the level that UGK did, and you choose to speak about the things that you speak about, you know, when you people the culture, you know, crazy stuff start happening.
And just recently, the OG Bun B did an interview where he states in the UGK contract that they signed in 1992 to Jive Records, the lawyers put in fixed on the contract that there was a death clause in there, which meant that if either or of the members of the group was to pass away, the remaining member could replace the other dead member, but at a lowest percentage rate.
I've heard a lot of horror stories about deals, right?
But typically that's about recoupment, right? Like that's about stealing publishing, that's about percentage and really about money. The most fucked up thing in the UGK contract was there was a death/jail clause in my contract, which stated that if one of us died or if one of us went to jail, that we could replace that member, but at a lower percentage rate. And I was actually asked if I wanted to exercise this clause when Pimp C went to jail.
And this was put in there by the Jive lawyers or by
Yes,
your
this was in the original contract I signed in 1992. A death clause. And I could replace my dead friend, but at a lower rate. So yeah, that was the kind of thing. And obviously we had fucked up recoupment and all of that. And there were amendments in this contract that we signed in 1992 that we didn't fully fix until Pimp came home from prison in like 2005. You just trying to sign whatever the fuck they want you to sign so you can get that check. I'm literally signing my life away because I'm only looking at 3 pages of an 80-page contract. So there's only 3 pages giving me what I want. I'm not paying attention that the other 77 pages are giving them what they want. But I'm an artist, I'm hungry, I'm young. I just want to be able to say I signed a deal.
He also states that after they signed that contract, they were so hyped, high-fiving each other. When they seen Carol as one, he said something that spooked both of them.
It's cap, right? It's all cap. We signed a deal and we go out in the hallway, right? Like we don't go out in a minute and talk. And we go out and we high five and we like, yeah, we did this shit. And we see KRS-One coming down the hallway. And we introduce ourselves, hey, we're UGK, this Pimp C, I'm Bun B, we came up here to sign. They're like, did y'all sign yet? And I was like, yeah, we just signed. Fuck, damn. Good luck, young man. Like, so I literally didn't enjoy the shit 5 minutes, right? And I went from thinking I did the best thing I've ever done for myself in my life to realizing I probably just did the worst thing I could do in my life. And literally from that point on, we were almost actively in a state of regret renegotiation. Literally, without even leaving, the ink wasn't even dry on the goddamn paper. And that's why I tell people, man, make sure you really know what you're getting yourself into.
And the last thing was, Bobo did say that there was a story that had came from the OG DJ Bird. Throughout UGK's career, he was on the pretty much every album involved in UGK. He was in the Use Me Up video. He's a very good dude, he's one of my big homies. Bobo said that Bird had walked into Mama West's house and he overheard ending of a conversation, and Mama West was highly upset. And whoever she was on the phone with, she told Bird that it was this guy named Larry, aka Buddy.
Bird said he walked in on Mama while she was living on Shreveport Ave, right?
Yeah.
Came in through the garage like we always did. And he said as he was coming in the house, she was finishing a argument on the phone with someone.
Yeah.
And all he could hear her say was, baby, you didn't own it while he was alive and you ain't gonna own it now. And he didn't know what that was about. And he said, Mama, who was that? She said, that was that Larry nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Old Buddy.
Yeah.
And he said that he owned UGK now. I heard some strange things about Buddy.
Yeah. And this was 2006. He had.
Yes.
I'm just like, don't joke with me and put nothing in my drink.
Well, maybe he knew what he was putting in the drink.
Well, duh,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Because the boy would walk around with a case of unopened lean in the box.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
They say he could walk right up into a Walgreens and go get it.
Yeah.
Like he was the pharmacist. I got that from a reliable source in Los Angeles.
And hey, man, this story, this situation with Pimp C, it gets deeper than you think. And now that this interview has officially came out, me as a Pimp C fan, it gave me some rest and it gave me some peace on the situation, because me, honestly, I listen to UGK's music, I listen to Pimp C's music individually from, of course, solo albums with Bun and Pimp. But every time I listen to their music and Pimp C's music, I get this sad, emotional feeling like, dang, man, Pimp C is supposed to be here. Like, look at all this music that he put out with the OG Bun B, man, and they made so much good music, and for him to go out so quick and so soon, it didn't make any sense. This interview coming out, it really gives a lot of clarification and puts the pieces back to the puzzle and fills a lot of holes that people have been speculating, but now it's officially confirmed. Me as a fan, I'ma just know Pimp how I know him, and that was my favorite rapper. Of course, millions of people all over the world love Pimp. Still, we love UGK. Still bangs still to this day. Bun still pulling the wagon by himself, and it's being very successful at that. He's still repping UGK for life, and that's how a homeboy's supposed to be down with his homie until the end. Also, I do want to put in here, for those who might not have seen it, but Bun did post his freestyle that he did for this BET event, and he wrecked that Bun B style. But yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this situation. Leave y'all comments and thoughts below. I'm gonna also put the link down to the full interview in the description. Don't forget, for all the newcomers and new people that's coming to my channel, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell to get notified every time I upload a video. For all my people, my Houston music lovers, I do have some brand new album reviews coming. I am currently in the process of almost finishing Big Pokey's Sensei album review. I'm gonna also release 3-2's album review for The Governor. I'm gonna also have Big Mo's City of Syrup album review coming out later on next week. Y'all stay tuned for that. But until next time, JC for the Culture TV. I'm out. Long live the Pimp, and long live Miss Mama West. May y'all both rest in peace.